Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live, live well.
We're back. We continue now with a story that has captured a lot of media attention all day long. Georgia's version of an Amber Alert issued to find 3 missing girls. Their father is suspected of kidnapping them after killing 4 other relatives. We get the very latest on this story tonight from NBC News correspondent Natalie Allen down in Calhoun, Georgia. Natalie, good evening.
Good evening, Brian. One can only imagine what the mother of these missing girls is going through tonight. According to a friend of the family we talked with, the suspect, 31-year-old Jerry Jones, called her, told her he had harmed her family and that he had 3 of their girls with him and was fleeing the scene. This afternoon, you can imagine an angry sheriff vowed to catch him.
I've had him in the Gordon County Jail for traffic violations. I need him back in the jail for murder. The way he's treated these people, I want him bad.
The police describe a very violent crime scene. Jones apparently afterwards took his 3- and 4-year-old daughters. They're identified as Tammy and Brandy Jones, and his ex-girlfriend's daughter, Brittany Phelps. Brittany is 10 years old. Everyone is hopeful for the girls' safe return. Here is a detective from the state of Georgia.
We are very concerned for the safety of the 3 children. At this point, we do not know whether Jones and the 3 children are still in this immediate area or if they have traveled to another state.
The FBI has joined in the hunt. They're setting up a task force. They're making an effort to set up a 1-800 number sometime tonight so people can call in with information. And Brian, the car everyone is searching for is a red and maroon 91 Ford Explorer with Georgia license plate 730YFV. There are countless law enforcement officials tonight throughout the Southeast who would love to be the ones to spot that car and get these girls back home safely. Brian?
NBC's Natalie Allen in Calhoun, GA for us tonight. Natalie, thank you for your reporting on this story and some record keeping now on some other legal matters, including a change of venue in that Lacey Peterson murder trial. A California judge says extensive, massive, in fact, media coverage makes it impossible for defendant Scott Peterson to get a fair trial in his hometown. Agreeing today to a defense request to move the trial to a whole other county. Peterson is accused of murdering his wife, Lacey, and their unborn son. And in Houston federal court, a judge has agreed to accept a plea deal from the wife of Andy Fastow, a key figure in the Enron scandal. The deal would send Lee Fastow to prison for 5 months. She's a former assistant treasurer at the company. Prosecutors hope her deal will lead to one with her husband, who would reportedly serve a 10-year sentence in return for testifying against, of course, some top Enron executives, including but not limited to perhaps Jeffrey Skilling and Kenneth Lay. On Wall Street today, stocks pushed higher. The Dow was up more than 63 points at 10,592. They like the news about Nokia. The Nasdaq was up more than 22 points on the day at 2,100 in the end. When we come back here tonight, the next frontier in space, could it be an old one? There is word tonight the U.S. is headed back to the moon. We'll have late details in a live report this evening. And later, the story in the nation's capital tonight, the Washington Redskins' new old coach, Joe Gibbs. We're back in a moment.
Excuse me, how do you feel about your stockbroker?
The truth? I do all the research, he makes all the money.
Please, with all the ideas I come up with, he should be paying me.
Oh, we feel great. We switched to TD Waterhouse and we never looked back.
Why pay all that money to Merrill or Schwab? TD Waterhouse has free, independent research that makes it easy to come up with your own ideas and validate them yourself.
I've never seen research like this online.
So switch to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers like Merrill and Schwab.
Let us together rebuild this world, that we may share in the days of peace.
The Return of the King is the most critically acclaimed motion picture of our time. Never has a filmmaker aimed higher or achieved more. On over 150 critics' top 10 lists, nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards. awards, including Best Director Peter Jackson and Best Picture of the Year. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, rated PG-13, now playing.
So you're telling me we can get 8 million L-28s at 6 1/4, and by the 10th?
It's covered.
And we can move them all from South China to LA for distribution by the 1st of next month.
Ocean freight, all set?
And no customs hassles. None, right?
They'll be cleared.
The supply chain experts at UPS will help you keep the promises you make.
Cross your heart?
Your supply chain synchronized. UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Peaceful, powerful, Rainier. It's a brand new Buick.
Dial-up is like this. Oh, you know when you're in a car and you're like, are we there yet? I think Roadrunner's fast. Really fast, like lightning. I don't even have to wait anymore. It helps with every subject. I did a report on seahorses, Martin Luther King, social studies. Get it done and you have time to play. It goes really quickly. It just gets you there.
Connect to Roadrunner now and your $25 installation fee will be donated to local children's charities. Call 1-800-OK-CABLE.
Hasn't it been nice to have space back in the news after days of amazing images from Mars thanks to NASA's rover up there? There is word tonight the U.S. could now be headed back to the moon. NBC News correspondent Robert Hager is with us from our Washington bureau tonight with details. And Bob, I couldn't help but think about Jim Irwin, the Apollo 13 commander, Jim Lovell, who was just on the broadcast with us the other night. That was his wish for this country after he left the space program, unable to get there.
Wow, well, that's just something. And I think this is all in the flush of success of that Mars shot. But the president, there's a couple of different government sources confirming it now that sometime, maybe as early as next week, the president will announce this idea that's been batted around here for a month or so about and endorse the goal of sending man back to the moon. So that would be for the first time in more than 30 years. And a long-range goal, that is. And then eventually, even longer range, setting a goal of establishing some kind of permanent presence out there. Remember, this idea came up first about a month or so ago, and at the time, the White House knocked it down for the moment, saying, well, it was an option. There was one of several options that NASA was preparing, and that the president hadn't reviewed it, hadn't made his choices yet. But now these sources say the president has reviewed it, has made his choices, and he's endorsing the idea. One other point to make, there was criticism by the commission that investigated the downing of the accident of that killed all those astronauts of the Columbia shuttle. And they said at the time that the nation's space program really lacked some kind of goal. And I think what they had in mind really was an inspirational goal. The best we had at the moment was the International Space Station, and that doesn't seem to be that inspiring an operation out there or have a real purpose. And this would in effect energize the space program, give it an excuse for being, give all those wonderful people at NASA an excuse for working towards something, and the idea of establishing ourselves on the moon again for the first time, as I say, in more than 31 years now.
Okay, don't try to pretend you're not excited about this,
No,
Bob Hager.
That's a big development.
From our Washington bureau, Bob, you and I will watch it along together. Thank you very much for joining us with this story tonight. We do have some minor problems to report tonight for that Mars rover we talked about earlier. NASA scientists say the airbags that cushioned the landing are now blocking the vehicle's path, perhaps delaying its first exploration of the red planet until next Wednesday at about the earliest. Engineers are now working on a last-ditch effort to clear those airbags before choosing a more difficult route, but they are very confident after practicing for hundreds of hours in its ability to drive virtually anywhere on that landscape they want it to. Here on Earth, while it may be bitterly cold across much of this country tonight, a new report out today is raising alarm over what global warming is doing to plants and animals on Earth. An international group of scientists says that if global temperatures keep rising, up to 37% of all species they studied will be extinct by the year 2050. The lead author of this study says more than 1 million of the world's species could be wiped out. Some claim it's already starting here in the U.S. There are starfish being driven from California's Monterey Bay by warmer water. Butterflies in Texas are migrating to the cooler temperatures of Canada. Baltimore could one day be without its coveted Orioles. And we're not talking about the baseball team. The report has its critics, however. Many say the species will, as others have, learn to adapt. Up next after another break, big news out of two cities tonight, Washington and Las Vegas. Joe Gibbs headed back to the Redskins to the delight of that city's fans. We'll hear from him when we come back. And still ahead in Vegas, that big consumer electronics show, the must-haves, or so they say, for 2004.
What do GNC customers have in common? It's not how big they are, how fast they run, when they were born, or if they work out. It's their desire to make the most of their health and their lives. That's why they rely on premium GNC Mega Men and Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live, live well.
The experts at Hotels.com know exactly how close all the places are to where you want to stay. All at the best price. Hotels.com. Best prices, best places, guaranteed.
Millions of adults with high cholesterol, diet and exercise aren't always enough. But adding Lipitor can help lower your total cholesterol 29 to 45%. Lipitor is not for everyone, including people with liver problems and women who are nursing, pregnant, or may become pregnant. Simple blood tests are needed to check for liver problems. Tell your doctor about other medications you are taking, or if you experience muscle pain or weakness, as they may be a sign of a serious side effect. So take the next step. Ask your doctor if Lipitor is right for you.
We've built something special in America. The finest home financing system in the world, opening the doors to home ownership for millions all across our country. A finely crafted system with private companies like Fannie Mae fulfilling a public mission of expanding home ownership. 30-year fixed-rate mortgages, some of the lowest interest rates in the world. Low mortgage costs that save typical homeowners as much as $25,000 over the life of their loan. Down payments as low as 3 to 5%. And strong consumer protections against hidden costs and fraudulent loan practices. At Fannie Mae, we're proud, with our partners, to have helped over 50 million American families become homeowners. And we're committed to expanding home ownership for millions more. Because we believe that every American family deserves a special place they can call home.
A big announcement. Joe Gibbs coming back to town. And me? Well, I'm not here alone. I'm here with Chief Z. Boy, I can tell you're excited.
Joe Gibbs is back in town. Joe Gibbs is back in town.
You know, earlier today we went downtown to get some people to say hello to Joe!
Thank you, Joe, for coming back, and have your team pray every day.
Welcome back to D.C., Joe. Hope you do well. I'm sure you will. You're a winner.
Welcome back.
My husband hasn't slept since they made the announcement. He's so excited. Thank you for making his day. I'm from Philadelphia, and I even think it's a good thing. Good luck.
Chief C, take me out of here. Joe Gibbs is back in town. Joe Gibbs is back in town. Joe Gibbs is back in town.
I interviewed Chief C back in 1982. That is the way they are like in Washington. That is reporter Pat Collins of WRC. That was a look at some of the hype surrounding the news story in Washington today. The story in the entire metropolitan area. It is, after all, a town that loves its football team. And so when it was announced that former Super Bowl coach Joe Gibbs was coming back to lead the Redskins after more than a decade off for good behavior, it was the shot heard round the world. We tried to get Joe to join us tonight. Team said he was exhausted after a long day. Here now some of today's press conference earlier in Ashburn, Virginia.
Here's the way I look at it, really. This is all new. This is different for us. We're trying to go forward with our players and a whole new group of people. And from this point on, the past doesn't buy us much other than relationships. We got great relationships. I do know a lot about the town. And so we'll get to that in a minute, but it really, we're focused on the future. We want to try and do something great here, and that's the way I'm looking at it. It's a whole new deal for me. I got to prove myself, and all the coaches, we got to prove ourselves all over again. And that's the way I'm approaching it. I think back to the stadium. I think back to all the things that happened there. I think about our fans and the fact that when I would go in that stadium, I don't care how cold it was, I don't care what the situation was, they were always there and they were always ready. I felt like we had one of the most miserable places in the world for anybody else to try and play. They didn't like coming here. And it's because of our fans and the interest, and I know football is important here, and so the first part of this teamwork that it's going to take to make us a good football team is already in place. Our fans, I want to say thanks to every single one of you. I reached a point in my life where, hey, you're looking, hey, you love the thrill of trying to do something that's almost undoable, and so certainly this is probably as close to that as you can get. This is going to be super hard.
Joe Gibbs, who after he left the Redskins, by the way, went on to become a NASCAR car owner. He bought into 2 teams and in 10 years' time took them both to the very top, the Winston soon-to-be Nextel Cup. As for what it's like to play for Joe Gibbs, we turned earlier today to another football legend, quarterback Joe Theismann, who led the Gibbs-coached Redskins to 2 Super Bowls until his career was ended by New York Giant Lawrence Taylor. Here's what Theismann had to say about his former coach in his own words.
And the head coach coaching in his 4th Super Bowl, Joe Gibbs.
I was fortunate enough to play in 2 Super Bowls for him. He was a coach that really changed a philosophy. He adapted to what his players did. He adapted to the way the game changed. And I think that's why he's able to come back, and I think he'll be very successful because of his ability to adapt to an environment that he was in. Here's a man that left football after winning 3 world championships, went on to NASCAR in a very short period of time, 12 years, and won 2. What you're finding out with the older coaches coming back to football is that the old school, the old-fashioned way really works, and it hasn't changed as much as people think. The athletes may have changed in size, they may have changed in speed, but the one thing that hasn't changed is the desire and the formula for success.
All right, here's Coach Gibbs.
You have hope back in the city, hope that wins will come, more than 4 or 5. You have stability back in the organization. You have leadership. You have experience. You have world championships as a resume on the man that's going to coach there. The biggest problem, Joe Gibbs has to go back and replace Joe Gibbs. The first Joe Gibbs won 3 world championships. I don't know if there's enough time left for the new guy to do it, but it's sure going to be fun watching him.
Joe Gibbs, a near religious figure in Washington, D.C., as described by Joe Theismann. These days, of course, a football announcer. We want to take a look at the morning papers, but we're only going to do one morning paper in particular. The St. Petersburg Times has the story of the oldest living veteran wounded in combat in World War I. He has died at 108. His name was Alfred Pugh. Let me read you a little bit about some of the things he did. His life spanned 3 centuries. He met Teddy Roosevelt. He watched Babe Ruth pitch a game as a Boston Red Sox player against the Yankees. He served U.S. infantry in France, World War I. 1999, he was awarded the highest honor that France bestows. He was the first Boy Scout in the state of Maine, just a few days shy of his 109th birthday. But it's another landmark for this nation, already worried about so many members of the greatest generation, the World War II generation, dying each day and each week. A World War I veteran has died. We'll take another break, and coming up next here, the cutting edge in consumer electronics, our preview of the newest and coolest high-tech toys making their debut in Las Vegas this week. Stay with us for that.
CNBC. Make it your business.
Let us together rebuild this world, that we may share in the days of peace.
The Return of the King is the most critically acclaimed motion picture of our time. Never has a filmmaker aimed higher or achieved more. On over 150 critics' top 10 lists, nominated for 4 Golden Globe Awards, including Best Director Peter Jackson and Best Picture of the Year. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King, rated PG-13, now playing.
A groundbreaking study by Purina proves that dog chow nutrition, when fed properly over his lifetime, can significantly extend his healthy years. Race you home so he can keep on amazing you year after year. Gotta be the dog chow. Purina Dog Chow brand.
Destination Orbitz. Feel? We've got a frantic wife trying to book a hotel in Vegas, and a travel agent keeps putting her on hold.
Sir, we make it easy to compare hotel options at her convenience. Plus, we have great rates at hotels in popular destinations.
Another mission accomplished.
Mom, Dad, I got in.
Wow! Congratulations. Ivy League. That's so great. Imagine that. Ivy League. Can you believe it? Sweetie, this is Vladnitz. He'll be renting the upstairs bedroom.
Honey, I'm getting a home equity loan to pay for college.
Oh. Want banks to compete over you? Come to LendingTree.com. You can use a home equity loan for just about anything. When banks compete, you win at LendingTree.com.
Excuse me, how do you feel about your stockbroker?
The truth? I do all the research, he makes all the money.
Please, with all the ideas I come up with, he should be paying me.
Oh, we feel great. We switched to TD Waterhouse and we never looked back.
Why pay all that money to Merrill or Schwab? TD Waterhouse has free, independent research that makes it easy to come up with your own ideas and validate them yourself.
I've never seen research like this online.
So switch to TD Waterhouse, the alternative to higher-priced brokers like Merrill and Schwab.
Introducing the Verizon Freedom Package. Go ahead, nothing's stopping you. Make all the calls you want. With unlimited calling, feel free to call anytime to anyone. Across town, across state, or across the country, even to Canada. No time restrictions, no limits on who you can call. Plus 5 services, including caller ID and home voicemail, all on one bill.
Call 1-800-483-5211 to sign up for just $54.95 a month. You'll save over $240 every year.
And save more when you sign up for wireless and DSL.
Call 1-800-483-5211 for the freedom of unlimited calling.
So what's stopping you? Verizon. Make progress every day.
You've never seen a show like this. 16 people competing for the ultimate job with the ultimate boss.
That would be me.
The Apprentice. NBC tonight after an all-new Friends.
If you're big into electronics, you know that our next stop tonight is the place to go when you're looking for the next big thing in this country. It's the Consumer Electronics Show. It's held each January in Las Vegas. It draws thousands of manufacturers that are eager to show off what they have, hoping people soon won't be able to live without them. Here now to show us the best of the bunch is Dick DiBartolo, better known as the Gizmo Guy. He's with us from the show floor in Las Vegas. And Dick, I understand you got something there in the foreground. You got something on your person, all part of this show.
Exactly, Brian. The thing in the foreground is the Beyond microwave oven. I'm going to reach up here. It has a little wand on it, and what you do with the wand is you run it across the barcode, and then the oven knows how to cook the food. It's part of a series from Sultan and the Beyond series. When you hook this up completely, it can actually call out and get new recipes, and that's about $179, and that'll be out probably May, June area. Now I'm wearing something called Scotty Vest, and I'm going to turn around to show you that it is solar powered. Now, Scotty Vest teamed up with ICP, the solar panel people, and what you do is you walk around, you will charge an internal battery in your jacket. So when your PDA or your phone goes dead, you can charge it from your person.
Dick, if you're going to wear a black garment in the sun, does it come with deodorizing panels as well? That's...
You know what? I think that's next year. That's
okay, thank you.
The 205, the 205 model.
Thank you, but
okay,
I interrupted.
Maybe around Christmas. Okay, around Christmas, maybe $200 to $300. This little guy is from Panasonic. This is a little eWare FM tuner. And what's neat about this guy, you hear a song you like, you push a button, it automatically records it. It has onboard memory of 256 megabytes, so it carries about 4 hours of music. That's about $179, and that's shipping now. I want to see if my phone went off or not. This is really neat. This is a combination. It's a Sanyo phone. Right now, Sprint is selling it. I'll tilt it up a little bit here. It's not going to go into the mode I want, but it is, you know, everybody has a camera phone now. Camera phones, I have a camera phone. Video camera phone. This can take a 15-second color sound video. You can email it, you can save 4 or 5 of them, and then you can download it to your computer. That's going to be shipping soon, around $380. However, if you get Sprint service, it'll probably be a whole different price.
You're not going to tell me they've just developed a new breath mint, are you? What's in the box?
Well, wait a minute. You're picking on my... spoil sport. You're absolutely right. This is the new Pentax digital camera. Now this guy is really neat. They had one last year. Now it's 4 megapixels, 3-time optical zoom. This guy is a beauty, about $399. That's from Pentax. Now when you go to the gas station, you no longer, you know, there's the Speed Pass, mobile, Exxon has it so far. Well, now they have the Speed Pass watch from Timex. And so far, 440 McDonald's and many supermarkets. Yes. You go to the register, you push the button, it's billed to whatever credit card you've set up. And the watch is about $50, but they don't pay your bill. You still pay your own bill. This little guy is from Garmin. I'll turn it this way. And what this is your personal workout assistant. Garmin's very famous for their GPS. So as you jog, it keeps track of how far you jog by satellite. But the neat thing about this, if you're competitive, it has a virtual workout partner. And you look down and you see if he's ahead of you, you can run ahead of him. I personally found out a way to pause my virtual partner, so I win each and every time. That guy's going to be about $150. And our final guy, this is very neat. This is called Cell Boost. And why it's neat is on the floor today, my cell phone started to die, and I walked by this booth, and they're phone model specific. What you do is you plug it in, and it'll give you an hour of talk time and about 60 hours of waiting time. And you can recharge it 1 or 2 or possibly 3 times. Then you unplug it, and it's disposable, but it's only about $6. So keep it in the glove compartment or your pocket, and you're all set to go.
Dick, I can give you about 15 seconds because we got to get to a break. So take 15 seconds to answer a cynical question. What is the need to have a phone that takes a movie? Is there going to be a huge consumer interest in that?
You know what? For people with kids, maybe. Outside of that, I don't see a particular need, but I'm the gizmo guy, so I will carry it.
Understood.
Just so I can say,
Understood.
Look what I...
Don't want to attack your turf
guy.
or your vest or anything like that. It is the show that brought us the PDA and the iPod and all of that. Dick DiBartolo, thank you very much for being with us tonight from Las Vegas. We'll take another break here. We're back with that last word on the little things that can be the hardest things for those soldiers coming back from Iraq.
Epson T001, Canon BC31E.
Shopping for ink and toner in most stores is hit or miss.
HP C9720.
Come on.
A.
At Staples, we stock a huge selection of cartridges, so we guarantee we'll have the one you need. Online or in store, promise. HP 45.
Bingo.
Your ink and toner in stock. Staples. That was easy.
In life, some things just shouldn't change. Your fingerprints, your retina, your very DNA. So why change your wireless phone number just because you changed services?
Now you don't have to. Come to Radio Shack today and choose from our big selection of Sanyo, Samsung, and Nokia wireless phones. And to keep your number when you change your service provider, just show us your current bill and our helpful associates will take care of the rest.
7,000 neighborhood stores and 30,000 helpful associates. Radio Shack.
Every coach knows the ability to stay in the game is what counts. So if you want to stay in the game, don't let anything hold you back. Take action to stay in the game. Ask about Levitra.
Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Levitra, stay in the game.
Do what I did. Ask your doctor about Levitra. Levitra works for me. See if it'll work for you.
2 lattes.
This is like the 4th coffee corner's opened in this neighborhood in the last few months.
It's the hottest thing going.
Yeah.
I just bought some of their stock. I think you should buy some. This thing's going to take off.
Well, this double mocha coconut latte is tasty.
Frothy.
This is where we come in. At Charles Schwab, we understand popular companies don't always make profitable investments. We'll help you develop a disciplined investment strategy that goes beyond chasing hot stocks. Call 1-800-7-SCHWAB.
It's too late, Jackie's here.
The bid's not ready?
No. So how do we get it to Milan on time?
Don't worry. We'll get it there. Go to UPS.com and schedule a late pickup. Or get it to a UPS drop box. They're everywhere. Or take it to the nearest UPS store.
More ways to get small business done. UPS. What can Brown do for you?
Or I could take it now.
CNBC. Make it your business.
A last word before we go tonight, and it has to do with an extraordinary sight we witnessed 36 hours ago now in Fort Campbell, Kentucky. The base has the feel of a ghost town these days. After all, about 20,000 soldiers from Campbell with the 101st Airborne are in Iraq, many for a year now. They are starting to trickle home, and their arrival, as we witnessed yesterday, is impossible to watch without being emotionally overcome. The degree of sacrifice on the part of the families is impossible to describe here. A best-selling bumper sticker at the nearby U.S. Cavalry store on the interstate says, "Soldier's wife, toughest job in the Army." The only job that could give it a run for its money would be as a member of the 101st. 57 of them will not be coming home. Only a few hundred have arrived back, but they're all due back before long. They've been told there will be trouble re-emerging in society. It won't be easy. Spouses have learned to do everything around the house by now. Many of the soldiers have killed people in the months they've been away. They've all been shot at in one form or another. The soldiers will get spooked by crowds, even at the local mall. They will instinctively reach for their weapons at night and when they wake up in the morning. Loud noises will spook them. And there's this. Young children of soldiers are being told, if you wake up in the middle of the night and need something, go to mommy's side of the bed. Daddy's very tired and may not know what's going on if you wake him up suddenly. As happy as the scene was, it is heartbreaking to know it doesn't end there. There are happy families, though, in Kentucky tonight, a small part of a larger and grateful nation. That is our broadcast for this Thursday night. I'm Brian Williams. For all of us here, thank you for being with us. Good night.
Good evening, I'm Jim Cramer. And I'm Larry Kudlow. Today we'll do more on investment opportunities in China, plus telecom takes off, the other side of the immigration debate, and we'll get the latest on the fast-out plea deal.
All in one show, Lords. All in one show. Okay, before we get to all that, let's get this hour's top business headlines. Nanette Hansen is at the CNBC news desk. Nanette, take it rear.
I sure will, Jim. Hello to you. Hello, Larry. Hi, everybody. Hewlett-Packard tops the news this hour. The stock rallied to multi-month highs today. Our partners at the Wall Street Journal say the NASDAQ plans to announce that HP will begin listing its shares on that exchange as well as its current home at the big board. HP CEO Carly Fiorina was tight-lipped about the whole deal, though, during a live appearance on CNBC this afternoon. HPQ now trading at its best levels in more than 2 years. years. And Dow component Alcoa kicking off earnings season after the bell tonight. The world's biggest aluminum maker earned 39 cents a share. That, my friends, is a nickel a share above projections and a solid turnaround from losses a year ago. Alcoa benefiting from more robust demand and strengthening aluminum prices. The company, however, also announcing it's laying off more than 100 workers. Let's take a look at how AA is trading in after-hours action to the plus side. And finally, here's a quick snapshot of how the markets finished the session today. All the major indexes higher on the day. The Dow up by 63 points, the Nasdaq up 22.5, and the S&P 500 up by 5.5. I'll have more news for you in just about a half an hour. Guys, back to you.
All right, thank you, Nanette. Now, Verizon Communications announced today it'll spend $3 billion over the next 2 years to build a national next-generation wireless network. So this is Jim Straight, Vice President of Data at Verizon Wireless. Thank you, Mr. Straight, for coming on. Tell us about this nationwide rollout, high-speed, broadband, all the bells and whistles. Could put Verizon in the driver's seat. What's your thinking on this?
Surely. I think today we announced the continuation of actually 2 markets that we've already started with of a high-speed data network for our national deployment. That network will be capable of supporting a lot of enterprise laptop applications and a whole host of consumer applications for our users out there. The speeds that our customers will be seeing as they're experiencing today in our first 2 markets in Washington, D.C. and San Diego is between 300 and 500 kilobits. So what we're seeing here is tremendous speeds, and we're seeing applications, hardware, a whole enablement of the wireless community.
All right, Mr. Straight, I gotta admit I'm confused. I'm a Verizon Wireless data user right now. I'm on your wireless constantly, and I have everything that just mentioned, and I'm not in one of these 2 test markets. Are you guys further ahead on this than anybody realizes?
Well, let's just say that we're planning on finishing our national rollout. We'll be doing this over the next 2 years. We're not announcing any cities at this time, but we will be moving forward. You'll start seeing these cities come on. And
but again, I'm doing it already. I'm doing it already. I mean, it's available in New York, isn't it? Or else I can't be some sort of phantom.
Well, let me tell you what you're doing. You're on our national access, which is our packet network that goes between 40 and 60. We're going to be rolling this network out in areas that you just talked about, but it will go between 300 and 500. Right. Much higher data rate.
It's already pretty fast, I got to tell you.
That's really the key point, as I understand it. I mean, we're talking really fast. This is a huge conversion. Up-to-date stuff. What's the cost of this conversion? Is the $3 billion number bandied about correct?
Well, what we've announced that over the 2-year period, the entire national deployment of this will be approximately $1 billion.
Oh, $1 billion. So you've already been on this path for a while. And what kind of pricing? What kind of pricing do you expect with respect to these product services, so we can figure out Wall Street style what the earnings are going to look like?
Absolutely. So today we've already started with our pricing in Washington, San Diego. We sell this for unlimited access at $79.99 to our customers. These are all enterprise customers today with laptops type of devices. Moving forward, we'll be bringing this also this year to the consumer market, and we'll at that time announce consumer type pricing.
All right, Mr. Straight, I'm told that it's really Nortel's game to win. A lot of Nortel, a lot of Lucent, no Motorola. Is there any truth to that?
Well, we today have multiple infrastructure providers in our network nationwide, and there'll be multiple vendors involved.
Okay, how about that Motorola rumor that no Motorola orders from your company for this wireless plan?
It's not my area of expertise. I really couldn't comment on it, to be very frank. I'm looking at rolling it out nationwide, and we currently have Motorola in some of our markets today.
All right, Mr. Straight, thank you so much. We heard Mr. Straight from Verizon Communications. Let's go right to the analysts, find out if they know who all this money's going toward. We've got the 2 guys who I think are ready to tell us where this, not just $1 billion, not just $2 billion, $3 billion is going. We've got Steve Levy from Lehman Brothers, Cody Willard, Telecom Connection. Steve Levy, Prescient report, December, telling you to buy these stocks probably about 200, 300% ago. I'm right, aren't I? It's Nortel and Lucent's game, right?
I believe that on the wireless side, Lucent's going to get about 2/3 of it, and Nortel's going to get either all of it or almost all the rest of it.
Well, that does. Where's Motorola?
Motorola's traditionally been somewhere around 10% of Verizon's network. I'm not sure whether they're in this next generation build or not, but it's clearly the big one is Lucent, and not so far behind it is Nortel.
Cody Willard, if these stocks move too much, we've seen Lucent go up every single day, Nortel go up every single day, now it's up like a couple thousand%. Or we could look at it from a point of view of 4 years ago and say that they're down 98%. Which one's right?
Well, they weren't priced right when they were at 60 or 80. They're not priced right necessarily here at 3 and 5. I will tell you, everyone's looking at this CapEx and the spending.
Speak English.
Everyone's looking at the spending from these from the telecom service providers, and they have been ratcheting it down endlessly for 3 years. All of a sudden today, I think we might have a watershed event here, where we've got SBC, we've got global carriers, and we've even got Verizon now talking about incrementally picking up CapEx, new spending. If that happens, if that actually accelerates, and you wrote something today about this maybe being something where they turn on a spigot, that happens,
before
it really can explode.
Listen, a rising tide lifts all boats, even telecommunications boats. So I want to ask you, what about Sprint? What about AT&T? What about SBC? Because a lot of people think this gives Verizon a big leg up on these competitors who are going to have to pay even more to make their conversions to keep up with Verizon.
Well, I think you'll get the virtuous cycle of declining prices for the equipment, which we've always gotten, which is always been around in telecom. But yeah, I mean, that's just the point, that if Verizon starts rolling this stuff out, Verizon starts taking fiber to the premise home, if we start getting bigger speeds, if we start getting big, these advancements, if you don't play, you get left behind.
Steve Levy, Jim's talking a minute ago about Lucent and Nortel. But the question, I want to stay with Verizon for a minute, because in a big telecom rally, actually Verizon's been lagging. It's not at the top of the list at all in the last few weeks or a month. Are they pricing their products right, or are they going to be too expensive? And what about the Vodafone factor? Because they own almost half the company.
I'm not sure that the Vodafone factor plays a role in this at all. I think this is Verizon trying to press their advantage. They've been going around for the last year with the, building the better quality network on the wireless side in anticipation of gathering as many subscribers and focusing on they are the quality player. They have that advantage. They're now moving on to the high-speed data. I think everyone else is going to try and play catch-up here.
But I just want to... Vodafone has to matter. If they own half the company, 45% of the company, then presumably they're going to take a like amount of the earnings. It's not all Verizon's earnings to play with. So what happens there? Because that is an important component of this story.
I'm not sure I know the answer to that, Larry. But what I do know is that as an entire company, one of the things we look at on the equipment company is what's the capacity to spend. And one of the reasons we went positive in the fall on the entire equipment group was we saw an inflection point. I don't know that I'd agree that it's a watershed event, except if you look...
I'm giving to hyperbole.
Yeah, well, okay. In that case, the fact that the water has been going out for 3 years, and the tide has been going out for 3 years, and now it's coming in. It's not a rushing tide, but it's changed directions.
But Steve, look, you advised me during the heyday when we used to come in every day and say, I can't believe it, Verizon's up in its CapEx, it's up in its... Could we be back in that period where 3 months from now, SBC Whitaker comes out and says, you know what? We're up in our capital expenditures, and each month we come in and you're on your squawk box saying, listen, it is going like that.
We did that this week. SBC has been saying we're going to spend $5 billion, and while it's a subtle and it's a small change of direction, this week they said $5 to $5.5 billion. I think if it's going to change, it's going to change because of the economy.
Right now you're watching these guys, watching four bulls sitting around talking, and Lucent's going by, it's up 44 cents, Nortel's up at $6. I mean, shouldn't we take a breather, perhaps?
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, Lucent and Nortel have jumped well ahead of anything you can imagine the increase in the SBC and Verizon and AT&T spending is going to be.
Cody Willard, one quick name?
Time's
Avenex. Oh, Avenex? Okay.
What about, can I be sober? What about falling prices? What about Lazarus rising from the dead? You got MCI waiting in the wings, you got Global Crossing, you got Quest.
MCI is going to start spending too.
I just don't want to get overwhelmed.
No, I know. Well, look, we just put it to them. Nortel Lucent. Steve's saying that they are discounting a lot of good news.
A lot
of good news. All right,
news.
sell Nortel Lucent. Okay. Guys, you are terrific. Cody Willard from Telecom Connection. Steve Lee.
Levy from Lehman Brothers made me a lot of money during the heyday. Go way back. Thank you for coming on the show. Later, we're going to talk stocks, as always, and today we focus on the advanced decline line, the AD line.
Yeah.
Listen up,
Yeah.
tech geeks. The latest on former Enron CFO Andy Fastow and his wife Leah negotiating for a deal that won't send them both to prison while leaving young children alone at home. Stay with KNC.
With all respect,
tomorrow on CNBC.
On Wake Up Call, the Wi-Fi revolution, and the companies on the cutting edge of this technological treasure trove.
on Squawk Box, the December jobs report, and we'll warm up with the CEO of Campbell Soup.
Wake Up Call and Squawk Box tomorrow starting at 5 a.m. Eastern on CNBC.
What do GNC customers have in common? It's not how big they are, how fast they run, when they were born, or if they work out. It's their desire to make the most of their health and their lives. That's why they rely on premium GNC Mega Men and Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live, live well.
We're leaving, Mr. Larson. Thank you for hosting our Career Day field trip.
Oh, it's great having you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've got something for each of you to take along.
Ooh.
Here you go. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh.
Put your hands out. Where's my big man?
Okay. Mr. Larson, they're fourth graders, not file cabinets.
Staples has easier ways to get organized, with products to help you file and store it all. Staples, that was easy. A groundbreaking study by Purina proves that dog chow nutrition, when fed properly over his lifetime, can significantly extend his healthy years. Race you home, so he can keep on amazing you year after year. Gotta be the dog chow. Purina Dog Chow brand.
Want a takeoff? Enterprise Rent-A-Car has takeoff weekend specials from $9.99 a day. That's Friday to Monday, just $9.99 a day. So take off this weekend. Log on to enterprise.com or call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
It begins with Royal Rumble, heats up at No Way Out, and builds to the biggest event of all time, WrestleMania 20. And now, from Time Warner Cable, it's the Road to WrestleMania package. You'll get the Rumble in January, No Way Out in February, and come March, WrestleMania 20. 3 pay-per-view events, one low price of $98.95. Order all 3 at once and save over $20. It's the Road to WrestleMania package. Call 1-800-885-RING to order now.
We just got this mattress and I am sleeping so much better.
The Sleepy's mattress professional was so knowledgeable.
And the Sleepy's people were so friendly and helpful.
It was great. He told us all our options, our choices, styles, prices, right up front. The Sleepy salesperson definitely knew everything about his product.
I worked for hours to try and find a better price. Sleepy's was run by them the best.
Trust Sleepy's for the rest of your life.
A federal judge has agreed to a plea deal for Leah Fastow, wife of former Enron CFO Andy Fastow. Andy's deal is still being negotiated. This is Kurt Eichenwald, senior writer at the New York Times. Haven't seen him in a while. Miss him. Peter Elkind, co-author of The Smartest Guys in the Room, The Amazing Rise and Scandalous Fall of Enron, senior writer for Fortune magazine. Of course, I always have my book with me when I have him on. Kurt, let me start with you. Welcome back to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Does the willingness of the feds to take a deal from Fastow hint that he's either A, got bigger fish to deliver, or B, that he really has nothing to give up?
Well, already we know that he has something to give them because Fastow has already provided some information that against one of his former colleagues, a fellow by the name of Richard Causey, who was the former chief accounting officer of Enron, who we have already heard is facing criminal charges, likely to be brought sometime in the next few days. Now, the problem with all this is you have a lot of moving parts. You need to get Lee Fastow's case resolved for Andy Fastow to enter a plea so that he's available to be a witness in the Causey case. So a lot is hanging on what happens with Lee Fastow.
Okay, let me bring Peter in. Peter, something struck me as kind of odd here. Here's a guy hoping to get 10 years. Were they threatening to send him to Guantanamo or something? I mean, what did they have on this guy?
Well, presumably they were threatening to give him a lot more. That was certainly the hammer that's hanging over his head, and Andy Fastow
surely believed he had a very tough case to win and didn't want to bet those odds.
All right, but Peter, how about this? This is a bit of a charade, because we knew, Fastow knew all along, the issue here was the kids. And so if you're a married couple in modern life and you're going to commit crimes, you got to try to do it consecutively so somebody can babysit the kids. And therefore, once that gets out of the way, there's no doubt about Leah's, she's going to get her sentencing, probably 5 and 5 or 6 and 6, and it's not going to be hardly going to jail. Now he's going to turn state's evidence. Isn't that really the issue here? Fastow is about to turn state's evidence.
Well, that's the report. That's the word, is that he's going to cooperate. The big question is, what does he have exactly, and who does he have it on? In terms of who he has it on, it's the people that are above him, and that really means Jeff Skilling, potentially Ken Lay, and his peer at Enron, Rick Causey, who was the chief accounting officer. Those are the guys who were at issue.
Kurt Eichenwald, you've been covering this case from day one, brilliantly, in my view. Do you have any doubt that a very smart and very well-organized guy like Andy Fastow will not have a lot of evidence regarding Skilling? If not Lay, certainly Skilling, who was the operating guy.
Well, I think you had 2 no's in there, so do I have any doubt that he'll have evidence against Skilling?
Right. This guy was smart, well-organized, kept the files, knows how to run a computer. I mean, is there any doubt that he is going to be a key link to the 2 top guys who have gotten off scot-free after destroying a company and the lives of the people that work for that company?
The single biggest doubt there is here is that you got to remember Andy Fastow's crimes, the foundation of what made him such an important case is his are the bank accounts where the millions of dollars are going, where the money is clearly being siphoned out of Enron, where there are kickbacks, where there are people who are presenting themselves as investors who are in fact fronts for him. This is a classic white-collar case. This is the kind of case that prosecutors bring all the time, just with a lot of bells and whistles attached. The problem is the money trail does seem to stop. This money trail does seem to stop at Andy Fastow and his friends. There's been no indication that any of this money went to Jeff Skilling. There's been no indication that any of it went to Ken Lay. And so the problem you have here is that Andy Fastow is in fact going to have to provide evidence about either A, people who knew what he was doing and had a wink or a nod, or B, going into the separate case, the accounting case. And that starts to get a little more complicated.
All right, Peter, I want to take it in a different direction. Sure. And this may be just totally wishful thinking, but you're dealing with a guy like Andy Fastow. That means you're not dealing with Charles Manson, you're not dealing with Jeffrey Dahmer. You're dealing with a guy who could be Milken, he could be Colson, he could be Dean, he could be Liddy. Is there any chance that this man is doing something noble here and rolling over to protect his wife, or 2, trying to start the rehabilitation process so that 10 years from now this guy can walk the face of the earth without people crossing the street?
Well, I mean, he is making a calculation, but he's making a calculation to serve 10 years in prison. And so he must feel that the government's got a pretty strong case against him, and he's got a pretty good likelihood of serving even more time if he actually takes this bet and goes to trial.
So no higher motive here. You don't think there's like a Charles Darnay, a City Carlton thing? There's nothing really going here that's...
No, I think...
You get me on this, Lawrence.
I know exactly where you're going, but see, I don't know. I just have a totally different concept, Kurt. I think the government cut this deal with Fastow, giving the wife the position so that she can then, you know, first the mother's going to babysit the kids, then she's going to serve 5 months, relatively easy, or 6 months in a detention. The rest of it's going to be a house arrest back with the kids, in return for which Fastow will do 10 and sing. I think the judge has caused us to be distracted. This deal was Fastow.
You're skipping over one thing. 10 years, you know, we don't have parole in the federal system anymore.
No, I know.
10 years is a big sentence.
No, Jimmy is right. I mean, this is a brutal sentence.
Trying to get him out of the Dahmer Manson camp and put him in that Colson camp.
And listen, I believe in salvation and redemption, so I think he can move on that.
I thought you would appeal to that. That's why I went with
And
that.
I'm all in favor of a recovery, but before we can get a recovery for Jeff Skilling, First, we have to nail him. Then he can go for salvation. That's where I'm going. That's where I'm going. Peter, help me on this. You can't tell me that Skilling is going to go scot-free. I cannot believe it.
Yeah, you said he would be in, by Christmas we'd see an indictment last time you were on. I
Guys,
remember.
the one thing you're forgetting here is we don't know what Andy Fastow has to say.
Well, we do know one thing, though. Andy Fastow's defense, according to his lawyers, was going to be that he was just following the directions of his superiors. And that clearly means Jeff Skilling.
And that clearly means what were the directions? How much fun is that going to be?
But that defense, I mean, one of the things I always found so hard to comprehend about Fastow, I kept pushing it. What is the defense? You don't say, I got approval to steal.
Right.
You can't have approval to steal.
No.
And so the end point is a lot of what he was saying about his defense really didn't apply to the things he was charged with. And ultimately, the question comes down with Jeff Skilling and with Ken Lay, the question comes down to not, did they approve what Fastow was doing that was stealing from the company? It's more, did they approve of secret agreements to repay outside investors their stakes? Did they approve...
Including Andy Fastow, yes.
Yeah, and if that's what Fastow can provide them...
Intent, and let me
You
add
don't go to life imprisonment for that.
Conspiracy. That's what we're looking for anyway. Peter Elkin, Kurt Eichenwald, two of the best.
What do you think about that Guantanamo thing, Lawrence?
I like this. Guantanamo, I don't know. That's an Al-Qaeda issue. Thank you, gentlemen. Hope to see you back soon. Later on, K&C, Red Hat is red hot. And next up, investment opportunities are so abundant in China that we just can't leave this topic alone. How to make some dough in China when we return. Please stay with us.
Introducing the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, but life-sized.
I'm giving away millions more of my computer learning lessons, and I'm happy to do so. Hi, I'm John Scheer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, over the last few months, my free computer learning offer has been more popular than ever. I'm shipping out thousands of my lessons every day to computer users across America who are tired of being held back by their lack of computer skills. So isn't it time for you to join the millions of satisfied customers who have learned to run a computer using Video Professor products? Remember, it's a complete lesson of your choice, and it's absolutely free. You can choose from Windows, Word, Excel, Quicken, and many more. The only thing easier than ordering my free lesson is learning with them. This proven what you see is what you do learning method, written in plain English, is fun to follow along with, and it's easy to use. Use the play, pause, and rewind buttons to follow the easy step-by-step instructions. I guarantee you'll be up and running in less than an hour. Call now and I'll send you any one of my products absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and processing charge, and I'll even refund that if you're not completely satisfied with my product. You know, I have people stop me all the time to tell me how much they like learning with Video Professor. How surprised they were with the amount of information they learned from just one CD and how much it has improved their lives. That's why I can make this incredible free offer, because I know that once you try my product, you will come back to us for all your computer learning needs. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the phone and call. Order your free CD today. I'll ship this to you within a week. So what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call Video Professor now for your free lesson. Choose from Windows, Word, Quicken, the Internet, and many more. Call now and this free gift will be yours. The Anytime Organizer is the calendar, diary, address book, and journal on your PC, so you'll never miss an appointment again. Remember, you must call now to get your free CD and the extra free gift.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-305-6821.
Merrill Lynch strategists today announced that Asia is where the growth will be in 2004. But we're way ahead of them. In our continuing look at China, today we have Kent McCarthy, manager of the Jayhawk China Fund. Mr. McCarthy, welcome to Kudlow and Kramer. Jim and I have been obsessing about China's growth. I myself for a long time. This is it, the engine of growth. Now, here's my first thought to you, sir. sometimes if you like a market and you like the story in the market, the best thing to do is just go into the market and buy some stocks. So how are you participating in the China boom?
Well, we own about 70 companies. A number of them are relatively difficult for Americans to buy, but about 20 or 25 of the larger companies have ADRs that are listed on New York or NASDAQ and have enough liquidity for retail investors.
So you're going straight to the companies. You're not buying the mutual funds. Can you give us a couple of the names that you're buying?
One of our longer-term favorites that's listed on NASDAQ is China.com, which is a value play, really. The stock has had about a $900 million market cap at $9. It's got $350 million in cash. They're generating cash. They've got a portal business that they'll spin off. It'll probably get a $500 or $600 million valuation. It'll be a portal similar to NetEase and Sohu and Sina, not quite as good a portal. But then it'll really be a China software play, and they should earn, in the neighborhood of 50 cents this year. But that would be in the more, speculative value camp. I still think any of the three portals, but they're much higher risk, NetEase, Sina, and Sohu, all have the potential. They have business models similar to Yahoo, so they're explosive business models. They're also models that can miss if the Chinese government changes the rules on SMS, for example. And then there's a number of broader I'm going to call them blue chips. By definition, anything that's large in China and public generally has a state-owned characteristic and generally has been around for 20 years, which means it predates the movement toward capitalism. But the more common name would be PetroChina, which was made famous by Buffett buying the stock, and now it's had a big run, as have a lot of Chinese stocks. But there's two other oil companies in China, Sinopec, which is cheaper, and an offshore China oil company, CNOOC. Sinopec's basically the oil company in the south of China. It's got a little more refining, a little more retail. Okay. So there's a number of ADRs that kind of can give people a decent diversification and exposure to China.
All right, first of all, Ken and I go way back, Lawrence, to the point where we actually had hair. I'm looking at him, he's looking at me, so where'd the hair go? It's been a while, we're at Goldman together.
Jim, this is from running a China fund in '98 and being short the NASDAQ in '98. A couple tough years.
Okay, what I wanted to ask you is, how do you? I mean, look, you're from Kansas. It's the Jayhawk Fund, Manhattan on the call. There is it.
Yeah.
And what I'm trying to figure out is how you got involved. I knew you were with me at Goldman Sachs. How do you learn these stocks, and how do you know which ones to avoid?
Well, I'll tell you my history, Jim. We fell into a stock in the 80s before Goldman ever even had an office in Hong Kong called VTech, which is now makes most of the mobile phones. You've probably seen it, and they also make learning. So I got in love with Hong Kong, and when I left Goldman in '93, I took some money and I bought the Chinese market just opened up. I bought every stock that was listed in China, along what you said,
So you're
Larry.
a 10-year veteran now in this group.
Yeah, I'm about as old a veteran as they get, because that's when it started.
Do you have any doubt about the boom? We're running short, I'm so sorry. Do you have any doubt about the boom? Real quick.
Economic or stock market?
The economy, the economic boom, which is what the market is based on.
The economy, it looks like it's going to continue to grow very rapidly in the next 5 years. There's nothing stopping it.
How about any hope for us like things like raw materials, shipping, steel, aluminum, those kinds of plays, which can be done in America? I can buy Alcoa and be part of the China boom. I can buy U.S. Steel and be part of the China boom. Does that work for you?
Well, we own the aluminum company over there, Chalco, and the coal company, Yangzhou Coal, and Anhui Conch. Let me put a caveat on all of those things worldwide. I'm worried still that even China's oversupplied. It's definitely a good cycle right now, but oversupplied in the longer term. So I'm not a big long-term fan of the commodities, but it's certainly good right now.
Unfortunately, Ken, we're going to have to wrap it up, but we think maybe got one of our China, because we're putting together this panel. Yeah. You may be one of our guys, man. His Jayhawk China Fund. a veteran, 10-year veteran in China. Great to see you, buddy.
Thank
Good to way too long.
Hey, it's
since I
good,
seen you
good to
last.
see you again, Jim.
Okay.
Take care.
All right, next, the KNC spin on today's financial headlines. Later, the other side of the immigration debate. Is an amnesty for immigrants good for American business or just a political ploy by the president? I don't know. We're going to have to stay with us, please, on KNC.
I can always tuck them in at night.
I can watch something funny.
Pause without a VCR.
And press play the moment we're all together.
I can get my home team in high def. Only cable can give you an internet that's faster than DSL. All kinds of movies on demand and the most local HD TV, all from one connection.
Can you?
OnlyCableCan.com.
CNBC. Make it your business.
Peaceful, powerful, Rainier. It's a brand new Buick.
In life, some things just shouldn't change. Your fingerprints, your retina, your very DNA. So why change your wireless phone number just because you changed services?
Now you don't have to. Come to Radio Shack today and choose from our big selection of Sanyo, Samsung, and Nokia wireless phones. And to keep your number when you change your service provider, just show us your current bill and our helpful associates will take care of the rest.
7,000 neighborhood stores and 30,000 helpful associates. Radio Shack.
Every coach knows the ability to stay in a game is what counts. So if you want to stay in a game, don't let anything hold you back. Take action to stay in a game. Ask about Levitra.
Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Levitra, stay in the game.
Do what I did. Ask your doctor about Levitra. Levitra works for me. See if it'll work for you.
If you're losing your hair, how would you like a free month supply of Avacor? Huh? That's right. We're giving away an additional 1-month supply of Avacor absolutely free with today's orders. Did you know thousands of people just like you have reversed their hair loss thanks to Avacor? Imagine going from this to this.
When I started to notice my hair thinning, I took action with Avacor. It stopped my hair loss. I'm regrowing my hair. It's worth every penny.
Before you spend thousands on painful hair restoration procedures, why not give us a call and let Avacor regrow your hair the easy way without paying a fortune?
Avacor is so effective, it's guaranteed for up to 1 full year. Isn't it time you regain that youthful appearance? The sooner you order, the sooner Avacor can start regrowing your hair.
Call 800-700-1447. Remember, order today to get an extra month supply for free. That's 800-700-1447.
I love this show. I love this show. Okay, let's get an update on this hour's top business headlines. Nanette Hansen is at the CNBC News desk. Take it, Nanette.
And I love this show, too.
There you go.
Good to see you guys. Barnes & Noble making news after the bell tonight, fellas. The nation's biggest book retailer says during the holidays, sales rose 6% versus year-ago levels. The company says shoppers were enthusiastically snapping up popular book titles and other merchandise at the stores. Separately, though, Barnes & Noble has sweetened its offer to take its unprofitable online arm private. When the deal was first announced in early November, the company offered $2.50 a share for the unit. That offer's now been raised to $3.05 per share, bringing the total price tag on that deal to roughly $150 million. Here's how Barnes & Noble shares are doing right now. They are up on the day. And as for shares of the Internet division, they are trading higher as well. Shares of Honeywell shining today. Merrill Lynch raised its investment opinion of the stock to buy from neutral. The firm believes the stock stands to benefit from the market's rebound. Merrill also sees help coming from factors like Honeywell's improving pension portfolio, strong cash flow, and more solid balance sheet. Honeywell shares scaled their highest levels in more than 18 months today, up $1.57. And finally, all the major indexes moved higher this session as well. The Dow up 63, the Nasdaq up 22.5, and the S&P 500 up more than 5.5. More news at the top of the hour. Back to you, fellas. Jim and Larry.
Thanks, Annette. Larry, I want to mention, before the break, we had that fellow Kent McCarthy on who runs the Jayhawk one, China Jayhawk, and he's playing it with Chinese stocks. Now, I'm not as familiar. He's been in it for 10 years. Let me tell you how I'm playing it, okay? I've been buying Phelps Dodge, and I've been buying Alcoa.
Yep.
Annette mentioned earlier, Alcoa reported a nice quarter to the close. Why am I doing with those? Because I understand the financials, because I stick to my own knitting, because I don't like to go overseas. Kent did not get to talk about one of his shorts, but it's a company that hasn't filed financials in a year. Please be careful if you're buying China.com right now, as many of our viewers are, because I've seen multiple six-figures trade since that interview.
Well, you're right, and we need to know, even with the ADRs, buying them here in New York, you got to know what the corporate and private property rights agreements are, and all that stuff, ownership law that we take for granted. Right. The Chinese may not be there
it's
yet.
Still Chi-Com.
I was going to say they're free market, but it's still communist country. So that's a word of warning. The other thing is, I think you can play this. One leading money manager said to me, "What about on the high-tech side? For example, Intel,
second biggest market, China.
Qualcomm for wireless technologies." Even Microsoft is going into China. So there are lots of Americanized ways to win in China.
All right, now let me put you on the spot. Let's segue for a moment. We have a very big unemployment number tomorrow, and I want to know whether I should take the over or the under.
I know, NFL betting style. Jimmy, I'm going to take the over.
All right.
I'm going to take the over because we're bursting with profits and economic growth, and also the purchasing managers, both manufacturing and services, showed big employment gains. So I'm going to take the over.
All right, does it have a 2 in front of it, or does it have a 3? Could it be 300,000 jobs launched right here, right now?
Now you're asking for a spread. All I'll say is this. The consensus betting line is 150,000 jobs. I'm taking the over.
So will this be a day where when you, because I'm sure you're on Squawk tomorrow, right?
Yes, I am.
When Madam Chow comes on, might she be smiling?
She would be smiling, but she's going to be with her husband. I think they're still on vacation.
Oh, so the one good month that she's not there, Lawrence. What other thing, just to point out, Nanette talked about the Honeywell upgrade. I unfortunately just sold my Honeywell. I think she's right about it. In the talk about the Merrill Lynch upgrade. But again, for the same reason, this is a big industrial rising tide lifting all boats. Honeywell, Alcoa, Phelps Dodge. These are the stocks people are taking.
No, I like that a lot. The material stocks, you're exactly right. The materials industrials came back today after a little slumpy correction. One other thing, comp sales, same store chain sales finished at about 4.25% year-on-year.
Not the 2
for
to
the
3 that
of
we're all
December.
so worried about.
Better than people thought, and some high-end stuff did spectacularly.
Tiffany.
Wait for the consumer in Q1 and Q2, Jimmy. We're going to see another run by consumer spending.
I hear Home Depot and Lowe's excellent. Best Buy had very good things.
Those retail indexes have corrected. It may be time to
stay away from Kohl's. Stay away from Kohl's.
We need to do some more work on that. Anyway, next up, Red Hat. Not White Hat, Red Hat. Later on, Jim and I are going to take a look at the charts and something called the advanced decline line.
Oh,
so
we're
please,
covering everything.
Stay with us. We're our bullish selves.
What if all-wheel drive had brains? Constantly adjusting. Giving you the handling of rear-wheel drive. And the traction of all-wheel drive, but only when you need it. Introducing the Infiniti G35 with intelligent all-wheel drive that changes with the weather.
I'm on a strictly vegetarian diet.
A low-fat diet.
I'm on the mashed potatoes and gravy diet. Load 'em up.
From classic favorites to new chef-inspired creations, Boston Market has it all. Boston Market, we're always cooking.
Announcing new Fancy Feast Marinated. Tender morsels of real turkey or tuna, lavishly marinated to captivate the palate of the true gourmet. Fancy Feast. Good taste is easy to recognize.
What do I want in a Glade plug-in? Well, it'd be fresh. What about a night light? A bright one that goes off when you don't need it and doesn't block my outlets. Nobody else can say that.
Glade Plug-in's Extra Outlet Nightlight. The only one that freshens, brightens, and doesn't block your outlets.
Plug it in, plug it in. Now that's a bright idea.
Plug into Extra Outlet Nightlight. S.C. Johnson Family Company.
It's the Office Depot Great Paper Sale. This This week only, save 20% on Office Depot Premium Extra Bright Copy Paper. Office Depot, what you need to know.
Ask your doctor if Celebrex is right for you. Or call 1-888-CELEBREX.
What do GNC customers have in common? It's not how big they are, how fast they run, when they were born, or if they work out. It's their desire to make the most of their health and their lives. That's why they rely on premium GNC Mega Men and Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live, live well.
So what can you tell me?
You're wearing a blue shirt. It's corduroy. You have bad posture. It's rainy outside. You look confused. Now you look angry.
Real-time information. Bad idea for psychics. Good idea for online trading. With Ameritrade Streamer, you get real-time market information with intraday streaming charts and customized alerts.
Now you're leaving in disgust. I'm good.
Sign up now and trade commission-free for 5 weeks. Plus, get our 5-second guarantee. Go to Ameritrade.com/TV/ or call 888-346-7800.
In the world of killer applications, Red Hat is making a huge dent. This is Kevin Thompson, CFO of Red Hat, the leading distributor of Linux software. Congratulations, sir, on that big convertible, which apparently was a blowout. What are you going to do with all that capital?
You know, I think we're going to continue to expand our business. We continue to see momentum behind the adoption of Linux literally in every corner of the globe right now. We've got a slogan internally, which is "The time is now." We absolutely believe that the time is now for us to really capitalize on the momentum in the marketplace. We're very well positioned, and this capital gives us the ability to respond very quickly to the market opportunities as they arise.
All right, Mr. Thompson, I have to tell you, I heard that you were available. I immediately told my producer, get him. Because one of the things that Larry and I have been talking about endlessly on the show is the reason why Microsoft is virtually unchanged since Kudlow and Kramer began 3 years ago, we believe is because of your company. Can you talk about that dynamic?
You know, clearly we've had a huge impact on the marketplace over the last 2 years, not really only Microsoft, but competing with proprietary Unix, really driving customers to migrate off of Unix infrastructures to a Red Hat Enterprise Linux on Intel combination. I think we're also starting to cause many customers to consider their infrastructure decisions as they deploy new applications, and they're deploying Red Hat on Intel instead of Microsoft.
Sir, can you just tell our viewers real fast the mission for Red Hat, so that they understand this open source Linux system is different than the Microsoft system, and that's the inherent great competition going on. Just real quick.
Clearly, our business is very different than Microsoft's. We really rely on the power of collaborative development. Our technology is completely open source. Our technology is not protected by intellectual property. Instead, we believe we must deliver persistent value to our customers. We must allow our customers to build infrastructures that are scalable, that have high performance, are very reliable, and allow them to continue to drive their costs down as they move into the future. And we're not tying our customers into Red Hat. We're delivering value to those customers, and that's why they remain loyal Red Hat customers.
Well, that's very well put. Now, taking it a step further, you're kind of like the servicer and the fixer-upper, but it's IBM and it's Hewlett-Packard, if I'm not mistaken, who's creating servers so that people can access your system. And some folks tell me you got up to 20% of the market. Is that true? Because if it is true, Jim Cramer is right. That is definitely holding back Microsoft.
You know, HP, IBM, Dell, Fujitsu, NEC, Hitachi are all great partners of ours. They're working very closely with us to really drive the adoption of Linux by large enterprises around the world, moving Linux from the edge of the network to the heart of the data center. And the marketplace opportunity for us is huge. And in every geography in the world today, there's demand for our technology, demand for Red Hat to be present. And that's one of the ways we're going to use this capital is to continue to aggressively expand internationally, to aggressively expand the technologies that we provide to our customers.
But Mr. Thompson, is it right, is it a correct analogy to be able to say that throughout the history of technology, we've seen proprietary systems give way to much more universal open systems, and it's possible that in the same way that we saw the proprietary digital equipments and data generals fade away because of the Intel Microsoft system, the current configuration of proprietary Microsoft software could actually give way to your open system.
We absolutely believe that we're changing the technology industry, that we're changing the way customers buy technology, we're changing the way customers consume technology, and we've clearly changed the way technology is developed. We believe our collaborative development model provides much greater rate of innovation, much greater value to our customers, and allows our customers to truly be competitive, to drive their costs down, make their businesses more scalable, so we succeed and our customers succeed, which is a great way to do business.
Let me play devil's advocate. From a recent Prudential report, and the fellow who covers the Brent Hills really does a great job. He says, Red Hat contributes its code to the open source community. Thereby, there are no intellectual property barriers to competitors with larger resources. Can't bad guys just steal your stuff?
You know, we've always believed that customers buy solutions to business problems. Customers don't buy technology because there's IP around it. We provide a platform that has the support of the entire technology industry. Over the last 12 months, we've put relationships in place with every major Intel hardware vendor in the world, with every major application provider that the large enterprise relies on. Customers buy technology from Red Hat because they trust Red Hat. They have relationships.
We got to leave it there, Mr. Thompson. I just want to say you look like a fighter. Would you agree to come on with a representative from Microsoft and we can really see competition at work?
Anytime, bring them on.
All right, I take that as a yes. Thank you very much, sir.
Coming.
Thank you very much. We're going to do it on K&C. Next up, it's our advanced decline discussion. What is that? Later, the other side of the immigration debate is coming up. What is wrong with an amnesty? Please stay with us.
Smart guy.
CNBC. Make it your business. Tomorrow on CNBC.
On Wake Up Call, the Wi-Fi revolution, then the company's on the cutting edge of this technological treasure trove.
On Squawk Box, the December jobs report, and we'll warm up with the CEO of Campbell Soup.
Wake Up Call and Squawk Box tomorrow starting at 5 a.m. Eastern on CNBC.
We're leaving, Mr. Larson. Thank you for hosting our career day field trip.
Oh, it's great having you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, I've got something for each of you to take along.
Ooh.
Here you go. There's a lot of good stuff in there.
Oh.
Put your hands out. Where's my big man?
Okay. Mr. Larson, they're fourth graders, not file cabinets.
Staples has easier ways to get organized, with products to help you file and store it all. Staples. That was easy.
You'd expect a luxury sedan to have aerodynamic lines. But Lexus engineers went a step further. Dimpled panels were used on the undercarriage to reduce noise and lower wind resistance. So it's aerodynamic from every angle.
Every coach knows the ability to stay in the game is what counts. So if you want to stay in the game, don't let anything hold you back. Take action to stay in the game. Ask about Levitra.
Ask your doctor if a free sample is right for you. Levitra. Stay in the game.
Do what I did. Ask your doctor about Levitra. Levitra works for me. See if it'll work for you.
I'm very driven and very ambitious. Probably has a lot to do with my background. Grew up one of 8 kids, raised by my mother. We didn't have very much money, so college wasn't an immediate option for me. I went back to school at 27, got my MBA law degree. Now I've got a lot of loans. Fleet's helped me with everything. Checking, savings, IRAs. I even invest there.
Banking and investing solutions from Fleet and Quick & Riley. It's one more way we're committed to helping people like Eric Evans reach their goals, today and tomorrow.
I wouldn't change a thing.
Oh, hello. I just need someone to come out and fix my satellite dish. I already called the satellite company. You guys installed it. Who should I call? You did, because you're like the third person I've spoken to today. That's you. No, there are no trees blocking the dish. I spoke to them already. You want me to climb up on the roof and look 48 hours. No. No, please don't put me on hold again. Okay, I'll hold.
Time Warner Cable? Sure, I can help you.
Volume is high, stocks are up, but let's get to the real nitty-gritty. Where's the advanced decline? This is Peter Martin, technical analyst at Prudential Equity Group. Thank you, Peter Martin. Right on the screen, advanced decline line. I've been waiting at least 10 days for this.
I mean, I know Victor Davis Hanson is an expert in many things, but not technical
Wow.
research.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, there we go.
There's Peter. We almost switched. I was ready to do Hanson. All right.
Do you think Hanson probably would have been pretty good at the AD?
Peter, I don't know what your rap is on immigration, but we want to go back to the advanced decline ratio. You're a brilliant technician. This whole thing started just before New Year's. I asked William O'Neill, boy, isn't that weird? I asked William O'Neill, who runs Investors Business Daily, is the market overvalued? He said the market's undervalued because of the advanced decline ratio going up. We're going to put it on the screen. You're going to tell our viewers what the heck an advanced decline ratio is.
Sure thing. Good afternoon, first of all. Well, an advanced decline line is really a measurement of the internal health of the marketplace. From a calculational standpoint, it just takes a look at the number of issues that advance on a given day versus the number of issues that declined on a given day, takes a net figure and adds it on a cumulative basis to the previous day's totals. The stronger the AD figure, the stronger the internal health of the market.
What else can you tell us technically inside the market? You are an optimist, as I understand it. You
That's
are
correct.
a bull. What else is supporting the advanced decline ratio and telling all of us ordinary people to hang in there? Still better times are coming in stocks.
Okay, well, certainly from an external perspective, if we look at the major averages themselves, we continue to be in uptrends over all different time horizons, short, intermediate, as well as long term. We look on an internal basis, in conjunction with the advanced decline line, we've seen a number of divergences that had been in place eliminated here over the last several weeks. As an example, the new high list for the New York Stock Exchange, which had been unable to exceed its June high, has done so on several occasions here over the past several weeks. Another example would be the recent breakout in the Dow Utility Average, unable to appreciably move above its June high, and then we saw a nice solid breakout here over the last several weeks there. So a number of the internal components or measurement or yardsticks, if you will, have been exceeding their June highs, and that reestablishes the uptrends and reinforces the strength of the major averages themselves.
All right, Peter Martin, one thing, and I want to bust some Wall Street gibberish here. People talk about things being overbought. People talk about the possibility of parabolic moves, particularly in Nortel and Lucent. Are you scared about too much buying pressure and about parabolic moves in these little $2, $3 stocks that are frightening a lot of my technician friends?
Parabolic moves, well, what we've seen in the Dow recently is a fairly strong surge up in the Dow, but if you take a look at the NASDAQ as an example, after experiencing a fairly sizable gain in the fall, we spent the better part of 2 to 3 months correcting that, and then just over the past 2 weeks have begun to break out of that consolidational phase. So we've been seeing an actual rotational corrective process taking place under the surface since we hit the June high, and so from our perspective, if you look at the major averages, near term, if you will, overbought conditions have been correcting themselves fairly readily, and so that doesn't necessarily concern us at this juncture.
Peter, not much time left. Any groups that look bad, the home builders, some guys were telling me that they look like they're in rollover phase.
Well, just in the last several sessions, the home builders have taken it on the chin, if you will, and they look fairly weak. Some of the general merchandising stocks.
How about interest rates? How about the interest rate chart? Big battle at 4 1/4.
That's correct. Probably 410 to 450 has been the range we've been in since about the last 5 months. We are optimistic on the economy and the market. We think rates will trend higher over time.
All right, Peter Martin, technical analyst at Prudential Equity. Hey, Peter, you're terrific.
Well,
thank you for coming on our show. I wish I had known you when I was in the game, man.
Thanks,
okay,
Ellis.
thanks a lot. Next, the author of a book called Mexifornia, and also Ripples of Battle, which is really fabulous, just finished it. We'll see what he thinks of the president's new plan to let undocumented immigrants stay in the United States.
All right,
Well, if you ever plan the motor west, take my way, that's the highway, that is the best. Get your kicks out on Route 66. Get your kicks out on Route 66. You'll be feeling real fine on Route 66.
I'm giving away millions more of my computer learning lessons, and I'm happy to do so. Hi, I'm John Scheer, CEO and founder of Video Professor. You know, over the last few months, my free computer learning offer has been more popular than ever. I'm shipping out thousands of my lessons every day to computer users across America who are tired of being held back by their lack of computer skills. So isn't it time for you to join the millions of satisfied customers who have learned to run a computer using Video Professor products? Remember, it's a complete lesson of your choice, and it's absolutely free. You can choose from Windows, Word, Excel, Quicken, and many more. The only thing easier than ordering my free lesson is learning with them. This proven what you see is what you do learning method, written in plain English, is fun to follow along with, and it's easy to use. Use the play, pause, and rewind buttons to follow the easy step-by-step instructions. I guarantee you'll be up and running in less than an hour. Call now and I'll send you any one of my products absolutely free. You just pay a small shipping and processing charge, and I'll even refund that if you're not completely satisfied with my product. You know, I have people stop me all the time to tell me how much they like learning with Video Professor, how surprised they were with the amount of information they learned from just one CD, and how much it has improved their lives. That's why I can make this incredible free offer, because I know that once you try my product, you will come back to us for all your computer learning needs. So what are you waiting for? Pick up the phone and call. Order your free CD today. I'll ship this to you within a week. So, what do you got to lose? Try my product.
Call Video Professor now for your free lesson. Choose from Windows, Word, Quicken, the Internet, and many more. Call now and this free gift will be yours. The Anytime Organizer is the calendar, diary, address book, and journal on your PC, so you'll never miss an appointment again. Remember, you must call now to get your free CD and the extra free gift.
To get your free computer learning CD, you must call now. Call 1-800-305-6821.
CNBC. Make it your business.
Joining us now is someone who thinks the president's new immigration plan leaves a great deal left undone. This is Victor Davis Hanson, military historian and author of Carnage and Culture, as well as Mexifornia. Mr. Hanson, we are delighted to have you back on our show.
But we actually don't have Mr. Hanson
And
yet.
we don't have Mr. Hanson.
We couldn't go to Peter Martin and do some more technical stuff.
That was great. Bring him up.
Let's talk about why we wanted Mr. Hanson on.
Let's
Go ahead. Why don't you talk about Mexifornia and why set it up? If we do get him back, fabulous. We don't.
All right, he's back. Professor Hanson, are you with us? There you are. Okay.
Yes,
Again,
yeah,
we are grateful to see you back on Kudlow and Kramer. Now, this is going to be a very tough issue, and I know you're going to have a lot of problems regarding the opening up of the immigration. But let me just make Bush's case, if I may. Hispanic workers, Mexican workers will come in now. They can register. They will have jobs. This way we can keep track of them and free up the border guards to go after the real troublemakers and terrorists. That's kind of Bush's logic. Tell me your view, please, sir.
Well, it's trying to split the difference between legality and illegality, deportation and amnesty, open and closed border. But the problem is that it's a systematic problem of illegality, and once you take one sliver of it and try to apply the law, you open up more contradictions. What are we going to do with the 8-year-olds, 9-year-olds, 12-year-olds who cross the desert, 70-year-olds? What do we do in our county where I live, where people come in their third trimester from Mexico to take advantage of our health care? And we have a set number of workers, but we may have 1 million to 2 million. Are we going to have two universes, a legal universe and an alternate legal universe? There's nothing in the bill that suggests that all the people who want to work in Mexico will go through the process to do it legally. Are we going to go back to the era of Border Patrol vans that will now patrol Fresno County and other places to pick up people who choose not to participate? It's kind of depressing because it suggests, and you guys know better than I do, that somewhere around the year 2004, the free market ceased to work because it always had a solution for a problem. That was either mechanization or increased wages. So I think it's a systematic problem, and we found out in California when you try to legalize driver's licenses for people who are illegal, then you open up a whole can of worms when people come to the DMV and ask, wait a minute, do I have to show a birth certificate for my 15-year-old and somebody who's here illegally doesn't?
But Professor Hanson, you're also a classical scholar. Wasn't it one of the great strengths, I admit it's always dangerous to get in classical with a classical scholar, but wasn't it one of the great strengths of the old Romans that they were generous with Roman citizenship?
Absolutely, and then that's what's been the strength of the United States, is that we're a multiracial society that's the only successful unicultural, multiracial society in the world today. But we can't confuse the issue of legality and illegality. I don't know what the proper number would be, 200, 300,000, but we have to set a number, close the borders, and then let people come in legally. But if we just take a slice of the problem and say we're going to look at workers only and not everybody else.
Victor, let me just with all respect, real quick, you got to have a job, and you can't have welfare, and you're going to free up the border guards. It just real quick, does it make any sense to you at all?
It does, and I give the president credit for trying to legalize something. But what if you want to come in from Mexico and you didn't qualify, or how are you going to? What are you going to do? You're still going to come in.
All right, Professor Hanson, unfortunately, I got to cut things off there. Thank you so much. That's it for tonight's show. Thanks for watching. Capitol Report begins right now.
Tonight, the lying game, a politician, a baseball player, and a potential lottery winner all come clean about lying, but is sorry enough.
And the Iowa caucuses are just days away. John Kerry tells us why he's the man to beat Howard Dean.
Plus, the L word, Americans and their politicians struggle with lesbians and homosexuality.
Capitol Report begins right now.
From CNBC in Washington, this is Capitol Report with Alan Murray and Gloria Borger.
Hello and welcome to Capitol Report. I'm Alan Murray.
And I'm Gloria Borger. Our top story tonight, they are all so very sorry. But is that enough?
In an extraordinary television appearance last night, Connecticut Governor John Rowland apologized for lying about gifts, like a vintage Mustang, that he had received from people who do business with the state. But he said he'd like to keep his job.
Meanwhile, Pete Rose tonight does a half of a mea culpa for lying about his bets on baseball. In part, some people think, to get into the Hall of Fame.
And in Cleveland, Ohio today, a woman said through tears that she had lied in claiming she had lost a $167 million winning lottery ticket.
And later, lesbianism hits prime time, both on television and in politics. And speaking of politics, we've got John Kerry, who takes on Howard Dean.
Now let's go to our top story, the lying game. So far, 2004 is turning out to be a banner year for having to say you're sorry. Here's what the governor of Connecticut said last night.
I was wrong when I accepted gifts given to me by state employees and from friends who do business with the state. For this, I accept full responsibility. But worse, I was wrong in failing to truthfully address these issues. I lied, and there are no excuses.
But in spite of that, Governor Rowland said he wants to keep his job. So when is an apology enough, and when isn't it? Well, joining us now to discuss, Eric Dezenhall, author of Nail 'Em, Confronting High-Profile Attacks on Celebrities and Businesses. He's also a crisis management expert here in Washington. And Frank Donatelli, Republican strategist and former Reagan political director. And Mel Antonin, USA Today sports writer. Mr. Dezenhall, let me start with you. You saw what Governor Rowland did. He said, I lied, I took these gifts, I took that vintage Mustang. I'm really sorry, let me continue to be governor. Does that work?
It works sometimes. There's a great mythology that if you just fess up, the problem will be over with. My 20 years at this indicates that the truth is sometimes more complicated. Whenever you're dealing with a personality-driven scandal, there's really three factors to consider. Number one, the personality. Do we like you? Number two, the act. What is it that you've been accused of? And number three, the climate that it's happening in. Bill Clinton was largely forgiven for what he did because he's a likable guy and things happened in a positive climate. Nixon wasn't forgiven because he was not a likable guy and things happened to him in a very negative climate. So don't believe for a minute that if you just fess up, it goes away. I see no evidence that that's true.
Well, Frank Donatelli, why doesn't this politician just fess up, apologize, and then resign? What would be so bad about that?
Because politicians don't like to resign. They like to stay in office.
Okay, at all costs. Go ahead.
I think that if, I mean, this was a really tough case because Rowland got nailed, basically. There's fiscal impropriety here. This is something, it's an interesting thing. You know, probably 50 years ago, the public would have been more tolerant of financial impropriety, less tolerant of, say, sexual impropriety. I think probably the public attitude is exactly reversed now. Secondly, as Eric said, he lied about it, so he had a chance to come clean, and he didn't. But third, and the most important thing, and the problem I think that the governor has, is that his own base is about to leave him. Just as what Barry Goldwater did to Richard Nixon when he resigned, and what no Democratic senator was willing to do to Bill Clinton a couple of years ago, I think you're going to see some heavyweight Republicans in Connecticut tap the governor on the shoulder and say, Governor, it's time to leave.
So you think he's done?
Yes.
All right, well, let's go to the Pete Rose case. Mel, you know, I'm not quite sure. I've been watching this coverage. It's not clear to me that he's quite said he's sorry.
I don't think he is. I mean, I think being sorry means taking responsibility, having some remorse and restitution. He doesn't seem like he seems like the more he talks, the more he puts himself deeper into a hole. Baseball fans across America for years have accepted what Pete Rose has said about his betting on baseball because they don't want to believe him. They love the fact that he was this average, talented guy who worked his tail off to become the all-time hits leader. That is a fantasy that they want to keep. So when Pete Rose, for 14 years, lies and said that he never bet on baseball, it's easy for people to believe because they don't want their fantasy broken.
Well, you know, actually what Pete Rose said in admitting that he did bet on baseball is, quote, "Yes, I did bet on baseball, and that was my mistake not coming clean a lot earlier." So, Eric, what he was saying was, you know, my mistake was not coming in, it was in not coming clean, but not the betting.
Well, I think that's right. It reminds me of Tanya Harding after she got caught 10 years ago, I believe, this week, clubbing Nancy Kerrigan on the knee. She had a news conference and she said, "Most of all, I let myself down." Well, that doesn't exactly show repentance. And I think one of the things that the American public has become intolerant of is the rhetorical apology devoid of any pain and suffering, which in the biblical sense is what people want to see.
Well, let's be fair here. Tanya Harding didn't actually do the clubbing herself.
No, she did. She did what any good thug would do, is she contracted out.
Frank Donatelli, is it tougher for politicians? I mean, do you think athletes get a pass on this sort of stuff, but Governor Rowland faces a higher standard?
Absolutely, politicians face a higher standard, and they should face a higher standard. After all, they do hold a public trust. They're elected by all the people, and especially when there's potential law breaking involved, I think it's a much more serious thing. That being said, I think even at this point, if Pete Rose had indicated real contrition, if he had shown a heartfelt apology after all these years and given some evidence that he had done wrong and he knew he had done wrong, he would have a possibility of being reinstated.
Are we talking about acting skills here, though? I mean, are we just talking about your ability to convey contrition or to actually be contrite?
Well, I think it's actually, I think it's actually to be contrite. If you look at the playoffs, when Don Zimmer, the Yankees coach, apologized and felt contrition for attacking Pedro Martinez during the American League Championship Series, he didn't have any script, he didn't have any book. He just got up in front of like 300 reporters and said, "I am sorry, I embarrassed my family, I embarrassed baseball, I embarrassed my teammates. I am really sorry," and he started crying. That was a heartfelt apology that everybody accepted.
Well, Mel, but, you know, Kobe, some would say, gave a heartfelt apology for committing adultery, but he was booed, wasn't he, at a game the other night?
He was booed, but the reason he gave a heartfelt apology for committing adultery is that DNA had shown that he had sex with that woman. He was lying until he had to tell the truth.
And it's not just adultery. He was accused of sexual assault. Let's understand that. You can't apologize for pure illegality like that.
Yeah, and don't forget the fundamental likability of these people. I mean, somebody like Kobe Bryant is not a hated personality, like Sammy Sosa, when he had his scandal, was not hated. Pete Rose is not a particularly cuddly personality, and whether you're dealing with a corporation or an athlete, you have to look at what you're given.
All right, guys, I am very, very sorry, but we're out of time. Thank you, all three of you, for being with us. Eric Dezenhall, author and crisis management expert, Frank Donatelli, Republican strategist, and Mel Antonin, USA Today sports writer.
Who says Pete Rose isn't cuddly, Alan? I think Pete Rose is. But, I think if Bill Clinton, one might argue that if Bill Clinton had fessed up at the very beginning and admitted that he had sexual relations with that woman, he might not have faced impeachment.
I'm with Frank Donatelli on this one. You know, I can let Pete Rose into the Hall of Fame, but I think Governor Rowland has stepped over a line and cannot continue to be the governor of Connecticut.
I think they both stepped over a line, and Pete Rose shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame.
All right.
And up next, a man who hasn't said he's sorry, at least not yet. He's Enron's Andrew Fastow, and he's trying to cut a deal to keep himself and his wife out of jail at the same time. We'll have the latest from Houston.
But first, can you solve tonight's Capitol Report pop quiz? Which of the following people is not currently considering a campaign for a seat in the House or the Senate? A, Florida recount figure Katherine Harris. B, former for presidential candidate Gary Hart, or C, Bob Dole? That's Senator Elizabeth Dole's husband. The answer later on Capitol Report. Don't go away.
Introducing the all-new Toyota Tundra Double Cab. Not just big, life-sized.
Hey, bud. You get a new haircut?
No.
Hey, Bob. Hey. Did you lose weight?
Your jacket, Bob?
Nope. What's different? He finally asked his doctor about Viagra. Ready to ask your doctor about Viagra for the first time? Find out if a free sample is right for you. To learn more, visit Viagra.com.
Called the sitter, walked the dog, and I saw the doctor.
Ask your doctor and see the difference.
You've seen Metropolitan Lumber and Hardware trucks everywhere. The reason is because of great deals like this one. Cut at least 50% off factory service tools with new tool warranties, like the DeWalt heavy-duty screw gun. Originally $158, only $65, only at the Met. Let us deliver quality products at low prices and expert service to you as well. With 5 locations serving the tri-state area, drop by any Metropolitan Lumber and Hardware and find out why you see our trucks everywhere.
Harold, time for your bath.
Time for school, Harold.
Harry, time for bed.
Harry, time to mow the lawn.
Time to get digital cable with DVR so you can record and pause live TV and never miss your favorite shows again. Time Warner Cable. Now anything's possible.
This week, indulge yourself in some grown-up gadgets and gizmos for the child in you. Some of them are costly. Some of them are just plain fun. You've got to see them to believe them, and then go out and get them. Adult Toys Week. Special reports throughout the day, only on CNBC.
Imus, for instance, this morning said I had the most hideous $2 haircut, and I beg to differ. It's a $7 haircut.
Welcome back. Today, a federal judge approved a plea agreement for the wife of Enron defendant Andrew Fastow. Once finalized, the deal would send Lee Fastow to prison for 5 months and pave the way for a separate plea agreement with her husband, Enron's former chief financial officer. CNBC's Scott Cohn joins us now from Houston, Texas, where the negotiations are taking place. What's the latest?
Well, we are still waiting to hear whether this deal will be finalized. Judge David Hittner has expressed some concerns about the 5-month sentence for Lee Fastow. His position is that there should be a pre-sentence report before he approves that or finally passes sentence. A pre-sentence report takes about 70 days. The problem is that the way this whole deal is structured, it's kind of like a set of dominoes. Lee Fastow wants to be out of jail before Andrew Fastow, the former CFO, goes to jail.
Well, they have 2 young children.
To take care of their 2.
Right.
That's the point. So they don't want the kids to be without parents for any period of time, and that's why the timing is so crucial.
But what is the larger importance of this? I mean, isn't this kind of a bigger fish strategy that this leads the way to Ken Lay and Jeff Skilling?
Absolutely. The prosecutors have been trying to get Andy Fastow to cooperate for about 2 years now. Lee Fastow is sort of a separate issue. Many believe that they only charged Lee Fastow to try and get Andy Fastow to cooperate. So the thinking is that Andrew Fastow, under his proposed agreement, he would go to prison for 10 years. He would agree to cooperate against his former bosses. And those bosses are clearly paying attention to this, Jeff Skilling and Ken Lay are.
So are their lawyers showing any signs of nervousness this evening?
Not outwardly. They're putting the bravest face possible on this. We got an email earlier in the day from Jeff Skilling's attorney, Bruce Heiler, saying that these developments don't change our belief. There's no case to be made against our client, no matter how some wish there was. And Ken Lay's attorney, Mike Ramsey, came down to the courthouse here today to tell reporters, look, as long as everybody tells the truth, Ken Lay has nothing to worry about.
So we're just going to have to see. You're absolutely right. CNBC's Scott Cohn reporting for us from Houston. Thanks so much.
And up next, move over, Queer Eye fans. There's equal time now for lesbians. They're even getting a new program on Showtime called The L Word. But with younger and younger girls now experimenting with their sexuality, is this trend a bad influence on your kids?
And later, Senator John Kerry. With the Iowa caucuses less than 2 weeks away, he's fighting for his political future. We'll ask him how he plans on a strong finish. You're watching Capitol Report on CNBC, so don't go away.
Hello. Hey.
First one, huh?
Yeah. I'm gonna work hard to help her get the best of everything. The best home, best education, the best future.
So what's her name?
I don't know. I'm just the financial advisor. Let me ask her dad.
When you work with a Morgan Stanley financial advisor, you get someone unusually devoted to your dreams, one client at a time.
All-wheel drive is great in snow, but on dry roads, it's not ideal for handling. So Infiniti gives you all-wheel drive traction, but only when you need it. Intelligent all-wheel drive on the Infiniti G35.
A groundbreaking study by Purina proves that dog chow nutrition, when fed properly over his lifetime, can significantly extend his healthy years. Race you home so he can keep on amazing you year after year. Gotta be the dog chow. Purina Dog Chow brand.
What if business no longer meant business travel? What if you could meet with people down the hall and across the country without leaving your desk? Be in different places, but still on the same page. Microsoft Office Live Meeting, a new service that lets you collaborate with groups of all sizes, all with just a phone, PC, and an internet connection. It's like being at the same table, even if you're worlds apart.
In life, some things just shouldn't change. Your fingerprints, your retina, your very DNA. So why change your wireless phone number just because you change services?
Now you don't have to. Come to Radio Shack today and choose from our big selection of Sanyo, Samsung, and Nokia wireless phones. And to keep your number when you change your service provider, just show us your current bill and our helpful associates will take care of the rest.
7,000 neighborhood stores and 30,000 helpful associates. Radio Shack.
Want to take off? Enterprise Rent-A-Car has take-off weekend specials from $9.99 a day. That's Friday to Monday, just $9.99 a day. So take off this weekend. Log on to enterprise.com or call 1-800-RENT-A-CAR.
Welcome back to Capitol Report. Primetime shows about gay men are all the rage this season, but now lesbians are about to get some equal time. The Showtime network next week premieres a new series called The L Word about a group of glamorous, witty young women who experiment with their sexuality. And homosexuality also continues to be a hot issue in this year's presidential campaign. Democratic frontrunner Howard Dean said on Wednesday that he supported civil unions for gays in Vermont because of his religion. So has this embrace of gay lifestyles gone a step too far? That's the question for tonight's panel. Joining us now from New York, Kara Bolanek, contributor for New York Magazine. In Washington, Elizabeth Birch, former executive director of the Human Rights Campaign. And also Robert Knight, director of the Culture and Family Institute. Thank you all for being with us. Kara, you wrote an interesting cover story for New York Magazine in which you said these are not your mother's lesbians. What do you mean by that?
Well, American viewers have come to know a very specific image, a stereotype, if you will, of what a lesbian looks like. And it adheres to a very feminist, I mean, it's sort of a dated image in a lot of ways.
And this is all about to change?
I'm not saying, no, I'm just saying that that is a generational image, and I'm not saying that there aren't 30-somethings and 40-somethings and 20-somethings that might dress in, say, Birkenstocks and whatnot, but I am saying that there are also a lot of women who look more like some of the women you'll see in the L Word.
Well, let's turn to Elizabeth Birch, because Elizabeth, I know you've been consulting, you've been working with the producers and the creators of the L Word. Is this a good thing for American society to have this on the air during prime time?
It's pop culture. It is, it's sort of a Sex in the City featuring lesbians, and it will be on Showtime. The creator, Eileen Chaikin, had a great vision. It's pure, fun, colorful entertainment, and that's all it is, and we shouldn't confuse it with public policy or anything else. But I think that Showtime is going to have a big hit on its hands.
Robert Knight, do you agree with that?
No, it's more than entertainment. The producers themselves have said they hope to change opinions about how lesbians are viewed, but they're not doing any girls a favor by trying to lure them into lesbian experimentation. Nobody is doing a young girl a favor by making sure she ventures into gender confusion and sexual dysfunction. I mean, this isn't good for kids, and I can't imagine parents are going to welcome this new addition to Showtime's lineup.
Alan, if I could just jump in and comment again, you know, as someone who is a lesbian and someone who's been a lifelong lesbian, I can assure you that young women are quite sure, most of them, of their sexual orientation, as are most human beings at a very young age. And the only difference today is that young women are resolving to claim their self-esteem and who they are at a younger age, and that is very, very
Let me interrupt there. Let me ask you, Elizabeth, there was a story in the Washington Post this weekend called Partway Gay. Talked about young kids, junior high school kids, experimenting with their sexuality. There was one young girl quoted, said, quote, "At first I thought going out with a girl was nasty. Then I went to a club and did a big flip-flop. I've been off and on with girls and guys since then." That doesn't sound like somebody's sure about their sexuality.
You know what,
Alan,
can I respond to that?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, that is the typical response of any young kid who is confused and questioning. That does not mean that that kid is not gay, and that does not mean that they are suffering a quote-unquote, as you put it, sexual dysfunction.
Well, is she
no,
gay?
You know what? You don't understand anything about sexuality based on everything you just said. And you haven't let either of us finish what we want to say. So I think you should just listen for 1 second.
Finish your comment.
Okay. When you're in high school, or when you're a teenager, you have all sorts of questions. Sexual experimentation is not a new thing. Every teenager for the last, God knows, thousands of years has been experimenting. This is no new thing. What's new about it is that we're seeing them feel more comfortable doing it
But that's the point. Let me get Robert Knight in. Let me get Robert Knight in. Let me get Robert Knight in here, because a lot of Americans think that sexual experimentation by junior high school kids and high school kids is not a great thing.
But it's happening anyway.
Am I going to get in here?
Let him in, please. Let Robert in.
Yeah, first, it's bad for kids, regardless of what form the experimentation takes. But this idea that, you know, you have a fixed sexuality at birth and it might be homosexual is just exploded by the articles like this in the Washington Post that show these girls are going back and forth between experiments. 2/3 of them in the study cited in the article changed their orientation over the course of several years. So what it shows is these kids are being seduced into perverse sexual activity. And Elizabeth thinks it's great.
You are both smarter than what you're saying. We have all known that the teenage years are a little gray. Some of these young women are friends and they're having fun, and some are falling in love. They are engaged in courtship. Just a minute. Robert, last time I checked, you were not a lesbian. I don't think you're an expert. And let me just finish
I guess
the
you
thought.
can't talk about men in any way either then, huh?
Wait a minute, Robert, just a moment. The point here is that this is a very normal, natural, developmental part of the human species. Could I just finish? And the other point is that it is much better to have young gay people be a little bit more open than to be imprisoned and in very dangerous situations where they are beaten. Let's just turn to, though, here's what's heartbreaking about these young women. 39 states can still fire them as they grow up. They have no federal protection whatsoever. A number of them will end up going into the military and operate under a gag order. President Bush has done absolutely nothing to protect these young
hang on. Yeah,
and
quick.
lesbian
Let's let
people.
Robert Knight, because you're a bit outnumbered here, Robert. Let's let you have a quick final word.
And yet neither of you have let either of us finish a single.
Well, you'd go on all night if you wanted to finish your
Let's let
statement.
Robert finish.
God, you guys have been like.
All right, let's let Robert have a quick word here.
All right, first, when people hear the name of the show, the L word, they ought to think of the word lie, not lesbian, because they're glamorizing a perverse lifestyle. It doesn't have any relation to the real life.
You don't know what the show is about.
Okay, Kara, go ahead.
I've read your article. I know what the show's about.
Kara, go ahead.
The show.
Kara, go ahead, quickly.
Okay, you've cut me off like 7 times, but forget it.
You're a
you
victim.
haven't seen the show. You don't know what it's about. The show actually focuses on the friendships of these women and the way that each of these women negotiates life as a lesbian, but also as a person. These are fully realized people. They're not, you know, just a lesbian.
All
yes, they have relationships with women, but they are also people in Los Angeles in their 20s and 30s.
All right.
So, you know, give these people a chance and give this show a chance and watch it instead of dismissing it outright.
That is the final word, Kara Bolanek of the New York Magazine. We will watch the show. Elizabeth Birch, you've probably seen the show. I know you'll be watching it. And Robert Knight of the Culture and Family Institute, thank you all three for being with us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And up next, Senator John Kerry is blasting Howard Dean for using religion as what he calls a political strategy. Kerry will join us to explain why.
Then later, Howard Dean's past comes back to haunt him. You might be surprised to hear what the Democratic frontrunner had to say on the record and on the videotape 8 years ago. That and more when Capitol Report returns on CNBC.
At Lexus, we realize that no car can control the elements. But that didn't stop our engineers from designing one that actually embraces them.
What do GNC customers have in common? It's not how big they are, how fast they run, when they were born, or if they work out. It's their desire to make the most of their health and their lives. That's why they rely on premium GNC Mega Men and Women's Ultra Mega Multivitamins, full potency formulas specially designed for the nutritional needs of men and women. GNC, don't just live well.
I'm on a strictly vegetarian diet.
I'm on the high protein diet.
I'm on a low carb diet.
A low fat diet.
I'm on the mashed potatoes and gravy diet. Load 'em up.
From the wholesome home-style choices that made us famous to our delicious new chef-inspired creations, at Boston Market, you'll always find just the right taste to suit whatever your lifestyle needs may be, even if those needs might be just temporary.
Keep it coming. Keep it coming.
Boston Market, we're always cooking.
Doesn't seem a way to be redeemed. Though I've tried, falling, I have sunk so low. I'm messed up, better I should know. So don't come round here and tell me I'm doing it so
We're starting up the neighborhood watch in this area, and here's all the information.
Stevie, get down here, please.
No, it's just
5, 6, 7, 8.
No tango dinero. Neighborhood watch. We're having this neighborhood watch, the first one. Right. I'll come back.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Start a neighborhood watch. It's just one of the many ways you can help make America stronger. To find out how, call or log on for this free guide.
You're watching CNBC's Capitol Report. Once again, Alan Murray and Gloria Borger.
Welcome back.
Coming up in this half hour, Levi's jeans will no longer be made in America. Find out why. It's an end of an era for the U.S. textile industry.
And we'll give you a chance to respond to what we do here on Capitol Report in our blowback segment coming up.
But first, our next guest is in the fight of his political career. For Senator John Kerry, the next few weeks in the Democratic presidential race are critical. Will Kerry finish strong in Iowa and then in New Hampshire? The senator joins us now, live from Dover, New Hampshire. Thanks so much, Senator, for being with us tonight. People who know you well say that you are a strong finisher as a politician. You've clearly put on a big push now in Iowa and in New Hampshire, making some changes in your campaign and making some headway. Has John Kerry, the candidate, changed?
I think that John Kerry, the candidate, is focused, energized, excited, and responding to tremendous energy and crowds out in Iowa and in New Hampshire. I feel very positive about the direction we're moving in. I'm excited about it. And I think, Gloria, it's mostly because I'm talking about the real needs of people. People are desperate to get health care. I have a plan that lowers health care costs for people who are getting it in the workplace today, which is different from anyone else. I don't just talk about bringing the uninsured in. I'm going to lower the cost of health care for people who already have it. I'm talking about how we're going to deal with the loss of jobs abroad and put people back to work. And most importantly, I have the experience and the vision to make America stronger and safer in the world, and people want real, strong leadership.
Senator, there is talk that Howard Dean now is thinking about proposing a new middle-class tax cut. He says it's something that he has always been considering, yet hasn't yet proposed. Is this a good idea?
Gloria, I have been, throughout my campaign, from day one, arguing that we need to, as a matter of principle, we need to protect the middle class. I have always said we should only roll back the Bush tax cut for the wealthy because I don't want to raise taxes on the middle class. As recently as 2 days ago in a debate in Iowa, Howard Dean said that that was hogwash. And that he didn't think it was a difference to the middle class. Now suddenly I'm hearing you and others say that as a matter of political expediency, for political purposes, the governor seems to be clinging on to middle class protection as a lifeline. I think people want presidential leadership that understands how you protect the middle class when you start and how you stick by principle. And that is what presidential leadership is about. So others will decide what is a good idea or what is not a good idea. What I know is that as a matter of principle, I've always wanted to protect the middle class against a tax increase.
But you're also talking about providing workers with a one-year payroll tax holiday.
No, actually, that was the alternative that I proposed to the Bush tax cut at the time when we were voting on it some time ago now. That is not appropriate at this moment in time, and I have not suggested it right now. That was refundable for 1 year, and it was a way of putting money into the pockets of the 20 million Americans who work but don't earn enough to pay an income tax.
And so now you don't want to do that? Now?
Not at this moment in time, because what I would like to do at this moment in time is protect the middle class, protect them from an increase. And if we can provide, after we get in and see where the books are with the Bush administration, because of the extraordinary deficit we have today, possibly provide additional tax cut. But at the moment, there's an enormous amount of stimulus in our economy.
You said that Howard Dean might be motivated by political expediency in considering this new payroll tax cut. Joe Lieberman recently said of Howard Dean that anger has fueled his campaign and that anger is what motivates him. Do you agree with that assessment?
Well, I don't want to get into, I mean, that's a comment between Joe and somebody and the governor. Look, what I want to fight about that I think is important is the protection of the people in America who have a couple of kids who are earning $40,000, $60,000, $50,000, who can't afford $2,000, $2,500 more of taxes. Howard Dean and Dick Gebhardt both will raise the taxes on middle-class families. I think Bill Clinton showed us in the 1990s that we Democrats know how to cut the deficit, we know how to balance the budget, we know how to grow jobs, but we don't have to do it by raising taxes on the middle class right now, and I don't want to do it.
Senator, there's something else that's come into this race lately, and that is the issue of religion. Governor Dean has been talking an awful lot about his faith lately, saying that it influenced the way he looked at the decision to allow civil unions in Vermont. Is it a political necessity for a candidate to talk about faith?
No, and I think it is almost... I think it's almost, wrong to sort of shift what you're doing with respect to religion for political purposes.
Is that what Dean is doing?
If there's anything, what if he announces a strategy to talk about it more in the South, but he's not going to talk about it in the North? It seems to me like sort of a Southern strategy, that you have a regionalized religion strategy. I think you have to be who you are. I respect Joe Lieberman. I don't agree with him on every single issue, but I respect him because he's always talked about it, because it's part of who he is. But when you suddenly announce to people, I'm going to talk about it more on a regional basis, I think it raises a question in a lot of people's minds about politics as religion, and I don't like that. I've always believed in just doing it when it's appropriate and when it's part of who you are. And people want to measure you as an authentic person, not as somebody implementing a political strategy, particularly with something as serious as your relationship with God.
So are you saying that Howard Dean is inauthentic?
I am saying that I don't believe we should raise religion as a matter of political strategy.